Well, hello, Douglas UCC family. This is your Pastor Sal again, and I am coming to you today from a room in my home which not a lot of people have seen before. This is my meditation room where I pray each day. If you've been coming to Douglas UCC on a regular basis, you know that I am always encouraging all of you to develop a daily personal prayer practice for yourself. But over the years, I've heard from some that you simply don't have the time to do so. Well, since so many of us now are at home, staying safe and self-isolating, I thought, well, we really don't have that excuse anymore, do we? So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to talk with you a little bit more about my own personal daily prayer practice in hopes that it may inspire and motivate you. Now, I want to begin by saying that there is no right or wrong way to pray. In fact, when Jesus was asked, how are we to pray? He said, when you pray, pray in secret. Meaning that prayer is a very private thing between you and God. And you'll see here in my home, I have created this very private space for me to commune with God each day. I've set up an altar, and on the altar I have placed sacred objects of different faith traditions, objects which are meaningful to me. And I light a candle as well as some incense because I have found it helpful for me in the meditation process to engage my senses. It's why I often pray with mala beads or rosary beads as well to engage my sense of touch. You know, I used to think that the purpose of prayer and meditation was to transcend the body. But what I've discovered is that meditation is really about becoming more grounded in the body, because the purpose of prayer is to unite the body with the body, capital B, the body of Christ. That the purpose of prayer and meditation is for us to become one with the one with all that is. Now, I have shared with you all before that the form of prayer that I practice each day is known as centering prayer. It is meditation, but in the Christian tradition. And it's an ancient form of prayer that dates all the way back to the early Christians, to the desert mothers and fathers. In centering prayer, we begin by focusing on our breathing. Many of you know that the Latin word for breath is spiritus, because when we focus on our breathing, we connect with spirit. And in centering prayer, we close our eyes. These also are the instructions of Jesus. After he said that we are to pray in secret, he said to shut the door. And what he meant by that was to shut out the world, to close your eyes, to stop seeing things the way the world sees them, and to begin to see things the way God sees them. So we close our eyes and we put our attention on the space between our eyebrows. Our Eastern brothers and sisters refer to this spot as the third eye, or the divine eye. Our Hindu friends sometimes wear a bindi in that place to honor that sacred spot. Jesus also talked of this spot as well. In the Gospels, he said, if thine eye be single, thy entire body will be filled with light. And so in centering prayer, we focus on our breathing. We close our eyes. We connect with that light that Jesus said is within us. And then we bring in a mantra. A mantra is a sacred word or sacred phrase that we choose. For many years now in my centering prayer practice, I often use the same mantra. And it is the mantra, all shall be well. All shall be well. All shall be well. And those are the words of the medieval Christian mystic who was known as Julian of Norwich. Interestingly enough, Julian herself wrote some of her most profound words while she herself was in quarantine. Because it is true that despite what's happening in the world around us, deep within the center of our being, all is well. Now, posture is also very important in the meditation practice. You want to find a posture that is comfortable for you, but not too comfortable that you don't fall asleep. Some people like to sit on the floor in the lotus position or on a meditation cushion, but I meditate each and every day in this chair. And I sometimes refer to it as my recharging station. But I sit in the chair with my feet planted firmly on the floor, and I'm facing forward with my spine erect. And you'll see that my hands are open up on my lap with my palms up. You know, so many of us, when we learn to pray as little kids, we learn to pray as little beggars, you know, down on our knees with our hands pressed together, pleading to God for things. But the purpose of prayer and meditation is to be open, willing, and ready to receive. And so this is the posture that I use. Again, it's focusing on breathing, closing our eyes, focusing on that light of the third eye, and then bringing in the mantra. Now, I want to clear up one misnomer, and that's that we are not to have any thoughts during meditation. That is simply not true. You know, I've heard from some of you over the years, you say, Pastor Sal, I have tried to meditate, but my mind just keeps going. I can't stop thinking. I want you to know that that's okay. It is perfectly normal and natural. We refer to our prayer practice as a practice. It is a spiritual practice, which means we have to practice it. And the more we practice something, the better we get at it, right? So when I first began centering prayer 10 years ago, I had lots of thoughts during my meditation practice. But now, 10 years later, although I still get thoughts from time to time, I have them a lot less, and I'm able to let go of them so much more easily. So in meditation now, when I do have a thought, I can recognize it quickly, and then I can say to it, thank you very much for sharing, and then I can go back to my mantra. So I hope that my words today about my own daily prayer practice will motivate you to either start a daily prayer practice for yourself or to deepen your current prayer practice. It's important for us to remember during this time of great uncertainty that it is important to reach out to one another and to check in and connect with one another. But it is also equally important for us to reach in and to check in and connect with God, who is our comfort and our strength. Stay home, stay safe, know that I miss you and that I love you. Namaste.